Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, despite a growing number of countries criminalising female genital mutilation, the practice continues. We report on a hospital in Kenya which offers reconstructive surgery to survivors. And I'll be talking shortly to Rhobi Samwelly, a Tanzanian activist who's created safe houses for young girls wanting to escape the procedure. And with the world caught up with World Cup fervour, our Buenos Aires correspondents report on a women's football team who's determined to make their mark on the pitch. But first, according to the United Nations, more than 200 million girls and women have undergone female genital mutilation across some 30 nations. Rooted in cultural beliefs, FGM is deeply harmful, risking in death or long-term health issues for the victim. Many countries, such as Kenya, have now made the practice illegal, but it still continues. Catherine Clifford reports on a hospital in Nairobi where FGM survivors are undergoing reconstructive surgery.
This patient is being prepared for surgery. She's a survivor of female genital mutilation, which she was subjected to at 9 years old.
I basically feel like I'm incomplete. There are things that other girls enjoy, I don't. It has really put my esteem so down.
She was one of 60 women to come forward for reconstructive surgery provided by the NGO Clitoraid during a visit to Kenya by US surgeon Dr. Marcy Bowers. A pioneer in the field, she's operated on hundreds of Kenyan women.
The clitoris is 11 centimeters in length, bigger more or less, and much of it is internal. And so what's cut in FGM is just the tip. So it's like cutting the tip of the iceberg. But beneath the surface is the iceberg. And so what we do in our surgeries is we bring that iceberg, or the clitoral body, to the surface.
FGM is profoundly harmful. Some victims die as a result, and others live with painful lifelong consequences. Kenya outlawed the practice a decade ago, but it persists. Activists like Jocelyn Mwangi work to raise awareness in communities where FGM is still seen as necessary for social acceptance and marriage. She says reconstructive surgery can help alleviate suffering.
It's not the solution to FGM. I think it complements the efforts that are undertaken to stop FGM. So at the level at which a girl is not able to pass urine or to pass menses, or even to enjoy her conjugal rights.
According to the UN, 1 in 5 Kenyan women and girls aged 15 to 49 have undergone FGM.
Now, neighbouring Tanzania, female genital mutilation was also criminalised back in 1998. Yet, as in many parts of Africa, the practice still persists to this very day, particularly in rural areas. In 2017, activist Rhobi Samwelly established a number of safe houses for girls wanting to escape the procedure, offering crucial support. Rhobi has also been nominated as a Marianne Laureate, a French Foreign Ministry initiative recognising the work of women human rights activists across the globe, and I'm delighted to say she joins me in the studio today. Rhobi, thanks for coming in. First of all, I want to start with your own story, because you yourself are also a victim of FGM, aren't you?
Yes. When I was 13 years old, my mother asked me to be cut. I was cut. Although I knew the effects of female genital mutilation, when my friend Sabina was cut when I was 11 years old, and she died because of too much bleeding, and she was thrown into the bushes to be eaten by wild animals.
So despite the fact that that had happened, your mother said, it's tradition, you have to undergo the procedure.
Yes.
And what did you say to her as a little girl?
I refused. I said, no, I don't want to be cut because I see that I'm going to die and I don't want this female genital mutilation. I pleaded her to stop to do any planning for cutting me, but she didn't want. She said, it is our tradition. You need to do it.
And what happened then?
I was cut And then after I got unconscious, for 4 to 5 hours, the ceremony turned into tears. The message started spreading in the village that Rhobi has died. But I wake up.
It's an amazing story, and the practice to this very day still persists. Why does it? Why isn't the message getting across to those communities that it's dangerous and highly risky for little girls and women to undergo the procedure?
In our community, traditional leaders, they say a woman who is cut has good behavior and she's not moving with men in her marriage. She's a respected and she's supposed to be a good woman.
In 2017, you established these safe houses for young women. How does it work? What actually happens?
We have 2 safe houses and a Hope for Girls and Women in Tanzania. When we receive the girls to the safe house, we protect them. And we work in collaboration with the police, gender desk officers, and the social welfare as the government also. We protect the girls, we provide them the basic needs and other things at the safe house.
But I was going to say, you've been targeted by people who don't like what you're doing.
Yes, there are some people whom their daughters who escaped a female genital mutilation, when they head there at the safe house, really they see me like their enemy. Because they plan to cut their daughters and then they want to marry them off, to get them out of the school. So really, they see me like the enemy, whom I want their daughters to continue with their studies in order to reach their dreams.
Rhobi, I know that you've helped thousands of young girls and women, but is there any one story that particularly stands out?
I can say to date, through the safe house, we have rescued 3,000 girls, 972 girls. Among those girls, there are some in university now, who they're dreaming to become lawyers. There are some in college to become pharmacists. There are some whom we received them, even they are never taken to school. They're 14 years old, 13 years old, but we teach them how to read and write. Some they're in secondary, and they're dreaming to become lawyers, doctors, and pilots, and they're working very hard. Some they're employed, and they are paid. Some girls were rejected by their parents. They're the one whom they remain to the safe house. But some parents whom they had their daughters are working now. They are paid. They start calling them, "You are my daughter. Come back. I can see this." How now it's changing even their attitude. I can see if a woman is not owning something, she's not valuable. That is why we also empower women and girls economically, training them on business ideas, on entrepreneurship skills, and support them with the small capitals to start their business.
Rhobi Samwelly, it's been great speaking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Now, the Prime Ministers of New Zealand and Finland have dismissed a journalist's suggestion that they arranged a meeting simply because they are similar in age. At a press conference in Auckland, Finland's Sanna Marin and New Zealand's Jacinda Ardern said they met because they are Prime Ministers, not because they happen to be both young and female leaders. Ms Ardern asking if male leaders would have faced the same question.
Yeah, a lot of people will be wondering, are you two meeting just because you're similar in age and, got a lot of, common stuff there, when you got into politics and stuff?
My first question is, I wonder whether or not anyone ever asked Barack Obama and John Key if they met because they were of similar age. We, of course, have a higher proportion of men in politics. It's reality. Because two women meet, it's not simply because of their gender.
And with the World Cup well and truly underway, here's a football story with a difference. In Argentina, like many other Latin American countries, the sport is still very much steeped in machismo. And for many Argentinian women, it's a constant struggle to carve out space on the pitch. Our reporters spent a day with one women's football club that's made a home in one of Buenos Aires' oldest and poorest slums.
When they practice kicking a ball, dribbling and passing until they've perfected every movement. These young women aren't simply playing football. They're standing up against gender stereotypes. Because here in Via 31, the oldest slum of Buenos Aires, the football pitch has long been a man's world.
When I was little, boys wouldn't let me play with them. Men are very macho here. They don't let women play sports.
Football, for me, has no gender. Everyone is capable, aren't they? But sometimes when the boys criticize us, they don't share the pitch, they confiscate our balls, and they prevent us from playing.
Making football accessible to everyone is Monica Santos's mission. For 15 years, the former football player has been fighting for this pitch, tucked in the heart of a disadvantaged neighborhood, to be used for women's practice twice a week. For her, occupying this space is a first step to changing mindsets.
Change begins here with these girls who are gaining confidence in themselves. They're learning that their bodies are strong, unlike what they've been told throughout history. That a girl isn't made to be aggressive, that she must be submissive, that her life must revolve around motherhood. Football helps them tremendously in deconstructing these stereotypes.
Constanza is living proof that Santos's theory works. After years of playing on the field, Constanza turned her passion into a job. Now 31 years old, she's making a living as a football coach.
Football has changed so many things in my life. It shaped me as an individual. It helped me break free of my family burdens. Today, I feel free. I make my own decisions.
Through football, some Argentinian women have found their calling. Others have found a community, a way to shine as a team.
And that's all for now. You can keep up with the 51% on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter. Plus, you can catch our previous programmes on the France 24 website. So until our next show, bye for now.